House Committee on Defense, Right Honorable Benjamin Benson and the Deputy, the Chairman House Committee on Army, Right Honorable Namda Abdulrazak and the Deputy, other members of the House Committee on Defense, Army, Navy and Air Force, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense, here ably represented, Special Advisor, Mr. President, National Assembly, senior officers, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I am Major General Farouk Yahya. I was born on 5 January 1966 in Sifawa, Botinga local government of Sokoto State. I joined the military 6 years ago. So if you will, I have brought along with me 36 years of military experience, having joined the Army on 27 September 1985 as a member of 37 Regular Force in NDA. I passed out on 22 September 1990 and I was posted to the Infantry Corps, so as an infantry officer. And since that time, I have passed through all the relevant courses commensurate to my career as I grew up, and I have served in various capacities, including command, staff, instruction and administration, including extracurricular. On pass out in 1990, less than 3 years ago, we were drafted to Liberia, where I had first-hand experience in war, if you would call it so. And finally, my unit was located at Kakata, member of number 26 and number 16. And for those conversant with that deployment, Kakata was the last deployment of the ECOMOG, who were the one facing Charles Taylor's MPL there. So all activities, including wars and operations, including, of course, negotiations were conducted by my unit on behalf of ECOMOG. I was adjutant, I was IO. So we have severally hosted the United Nations negotiation in Kakata. We have severally hosted, for example, I remember the UN Security Special Assistant, the UN Secretary, that time it was Trevor Gordon Summers, and others. We have hosted other factional leaders, including Kuroma, including Johnson and others in that negotiation. We also fought our way to that end. So if you will, I had first-hand experience barely 3 years after my passing out in war and its processes, similar to what we are facing now. After that, when we came back to the country, I was also promoted to Gas Brigade here, where I served as a platoon commander, company 2 ICR company commander. So I'm also abreast with the security requirements of Abuja itself and the parade and the other requirements that are characteristic of that deployment. Subsequently, also I grew up in my career to become commanding officer in that brigade garrison in Abuja here. And so I was involved in all the security requirements of securing Abuja, and particularly the presidential villa. I grew up also to be a directing staff from there in the Armed Forces Command and Staff College. Thereafter, I also grew up in command to be a brigade commander in 4 Brigade, Benin. Even before that, I have served in that general area. So in Benin, I was conversant with all the requirements and the challenges involved in the security architecture in South-South, if you will, including those that we need to do in the defense of our critical assets in terms of oil exploration. Even earlier than that, I was in Yenagua, a chief of staff, Operation Pulo Shield, it was called that time, now Operation Delta Seal, where we also operated in defense of our critical assets, including oil exploration and related matters. From Benin and 4 Brigade, I was drafted to 29 Task Force Brigade, Operation Lafia Adole, where I served there under the CDS, he was that time the theater commander. So at that level, I was also conversant with the war on insurgency since that time, and all the requirements, and we did our best that time in providing of security and other challenges that we addressed. From there, I came back to Army Headquarters Department of Administration, where I was Director of Manpower Planning. Manpower Planning is the department or director that is responsible for the recruitment of soldiers in the Army. So I'm conversant with the requirement for recruitment, and I have an idea of what it is. When you are talking about recruitment, and I know what we have on the ground, probably how many, if you ask me, I will, and others. And the challenges administration involved in that. I have been to depot several times, and I have conducted recruitment even as I grew into my career. I have done that in Jalingo, I have done that in Wari, I have done that in several other places. From there, I was also drafted to Army Headquarters Military Secretary, as the Military Secretary. Now, Military Secretary is the one responsible for the enlistment or commissioning of officers. So I have an idea what is required in terms of the officer requirement, officer challenges. I'm also conversant with all the requirements in terms of officer development. So I'm put up in what soldiers and officers have been served in these locations. For the military secretary, I was drafted to Headquarters 1 Division Nigerian Army in Kaduna, where I was involved again in, despite the administration of the units under command, also operations in the Northwest. I'm even from that zone, so I'm conversant with the challenges and other issues that relate to the banditry, kidnapping, and other challenges that happen there, including ethno-religious that happen every now and then in that place. It is from there that I went to Headquarters Theater Command as a theater commander, and I'm pleased to observe that I'm one of the longest sergeant who has served there as theater commander. I think only the former CDS served longer than myself. So I've been there for over a year, and they were involved in all the requirements for the provision of security and the fight against terrorism. And I am pleased to report that it was under my command that we were able to enter the Book Triangle that we have not been able to get into for a very long time. The Book Triangle is one area that hitherto was held by the terrorists, but with the support of the federal government and the Joe Army staff then were able to clear that Timbuktu Triangle and ransack all the hitherto enclaves of the Boko Haram terrorists, whether I'm talking about Book, whether I'm talking about Kafa, whether I'm talking about Gorgori, whether you're talking about, other areas in that place. So we're involved in the other also security provision in all across the theater, whether I'm talking about Damasaki, Malabadori, whether I'm talking about Gaidam and other areas. I was also involved in relating with other security agencies and elements, including the NGOs that are also in that place. It's from there that I came here. So having looked at my career, I believe I have virtually seen it all. I have seen war in other countries. I have seen how it was done. I was involved also in internal security operations, both there and here, because there, for more, it also involved security enforcement, peace enforcement and peacekeeping as it developed. Here also I have been to the Northwest, like I mentioned, the South-South, like I mentioned, and to the Northeast. And now the challenges we are facing now all are characterized by this area I have mentioned, where I have first-hand information, where I have commanded also troops and administered them in achieving what we have done. I therefore believe that I have the requisite requirement by the grace of God to now provide my services in this office of the Chief Army Staff, if so confirmed. What I brought is the 30 years of experience and commitment, dedicated leadership that I have had all across my career. Throughout my career, I have been appointed and promoted as a new from the time I started until now. I think that probably points to that I have met also the requirement at every level of my career development. So I'm committed and determined to provide my best, also having known what is required to achieve results. Before I stop, let me, at this end, I should have done that earlier, thank and appreciate this honorable house that I know they are on break. But given the importance they attach to this screening, they came back from their break to screen. And considering, I particularly want to appreciate the chairman, House Committee on Defense, who is even outside country other engagements. He had to cut it short to be here. This morning we have to wait for the honorable chairman, House Committee on Army, for who have gone for other engagement, but have to cut them short to be here. I thank you very much, and I think that also points to the good working relationship we have, or the Army has, with the National Assembly. It was not different when I went to the Senate, and I think what was displayed today also further point to this synergy and the good working relationship that I very much appreciate and hope will foster and continue to work together. Each and everyone has something to contribute. You can't and will not belittle the role of the National Assembly. They are the ones who provide the resources, who conduct the oversight function, who also interject where necessary, when entailed to be done. And so we are ready and willing to partner with all, including all other service and security agencies, because the job at hand, judging from my experience, it's not a one-man job, but it's what could be done or what could be done along with other services, other agencies, including all stakeholders. Indeed, security is everybody's business, so we need all others, including the people, to now support, and including the members of the National Assembly also, who decide here in the chamber are also leaders in their own respect of their own communities. When you listen to the introduction, everyone is representing a people. And I believe they have influence that they could spread there, and that we could harness, integrate it into our own fight against this insecurity. And with your support with everyone, I believe we'll get there. Thank you so very much, sir.